My name is Chloe Zhang, and I run my own leadership coaching practice, and it's called Chloe & Co. I work with people who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and people who are incredibly accomplished in their career, in their family life, but they're really looking to authentically express themselves and to really live a life that is value focused and as well as that's very true to themselves. Simplicity is one of my really top values. And what I think that's a real strength of mindfulness daily, that it is built with a lot of wisdom, a lot of um, learning from behavioral research, and yet it's so simple. And so one of the advantages that I see of my clients using mindfulness daily is that it doesn't get into the way of them actually living their life, which is already busy. So doing one more thing or learn one more technique, sometimes it can feel like cumbersome. And what I think that is beautiful about mindfulness daily, that it really integrates into your life, and it gives you little prompts to remind you to be in touch with yourself. You can actually choose to not take the prompt or not. And so it provides the support and the structure and the anchor that a person needs, but at the same time, the ownership is on the person. I have been a tester for Therapy Daily since late October, so it's been about a month. I really enjoy the UX interface of Mindfulness Daily, and so Therapy Daily is obviously like the same suite as Mindfulness Daily, but I think that having a very clean and not distracted UX interface to me is actually half of the success. Like I'm actually able to enjoy using it. So that's number one. And I think number two is I haven't really had extensive therapy myself. I've gone to just maybe a couple of sessions. And so I am curious myself as a person who's interested in just understanding more about myself and understanding more about therapy and my own interest in therapy and just in general people's personal development, emotional intelligence development, so on and so forth. I'm curious about how this can impact people, and I'm also curious, but also I'm hopeful. Like I think that part of it to be as the tester is that I'm joining a movement and joining a much bigger thing that hopefully can impact people's life in a very tangible and meaningful way. In Therapy Daily, there is a particular function that asks you to rate, how triggered are you and how adult are you? And that is not a concept that's like foreign to me, but it's also not a concept that I think about all the time. I never really had a therapist, but it's easy enough for me to understand the concept of there are times that there are things that would trigger me emotionally and get me into a state that I'm not functioning fully as an adult, or I would just say like someone who has full access to the toolbox and their resources. And just even having that in place to help me to check in or even just be reminded that there are times that I'm not triggered and there are times I am, and then questions to support me to really I was going to say calm down, but I think calm down is not probably even the only purpose, but maybe at the moment of trigger it is to just even just this like tiny little gap of space of just saying, hey, I'm triggered, and I might still decide to go ahead and be angry or be scared, but at least there is a sort of a reminder that I do have a choice. And I think that in itself is very impactful. There is a situation that I can share. I was on a cab. I was in DC, so I don't know my way around. And I have literally 45 minutes before I need to get on the bus. And I was on my way to meet a friend. And we don't live in the same location. It's a very limited time. We can actually catch up. And so the importance of me getting to Union Station on time so I can actually have like full 30 minutes of time to catch up with him is important for me. And the cab driver, definitely not his fault, but his GPS somehow just directed him to a weird location where it's not the right location to be dropped off. And I think that I was already anxious. And so what happened was we were on a highway, and he was about to enter into some kind of line that says like Union Station, but it's really only for taxi, but not for passenger drop off. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to get off here?" And I got triggered really badly, and I got really mad. And yeah, like a bunch of things happened in my head. I'm like, "You're so irresponsible. You want to drop me off on a highway. I'm already late. You're so incompetent, blah, blah, blah." It's all in my head. And I got really mad. And I was able to remember that I was triggered. And I think that all the effect already happened in my body. So I can't really slow down or like kind of go back to before I was triggered. And, but I think I was able to at least breathe and just keep reminding myself that I'm triggered. I need to breathe. It's not his fault, but like feeling the anxiety at the same time, just, I don't know, trying to help myself. And I think I actually pull out the therapy daily at some points. I was feeling the effect of all the chemicals that whatever hormone that my body is like releasing while I was triggered. And it was really hard. It was very hard to follow through all the questions that were on the screen about, if it's like another situation, like if you have choice, what would you do differently? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it differently. I just want to be mad. But I think that being like adult educator myself and being a coach myself, that I know that it's these daily moments like in your life kind of training and also like my own commitment and desire to really change, and doing this like again that would make a difference. And maybe next time when I'm another cab driver in the city and I was late, hopefully I can have like 4 more seconds of delay before I trigger, and then it would just it's like an ongoing practice. I really like the value reminder in Therapy Daily, and it's also available in Mindfulness Daily. And as a coach, I work with people to focus on different areas in their life, and sometimes it's really focusing on the value that are important to them. And so I work on that on my own too. And the reminder is particularly helpful if I am in a very active engagement of something I'm working on. So for example, I think that another feature of Therapy Daily is setting your morning intention. And so my morning intention lately has been trust, and trusting my own intuition, and trusting that I have support, and really trusting that the universe out there is here to help me. And just getting a reminder of take a pause, feel the trust, that like feel your body. And I think that if I were my more critical or my old self, that I would sort of just like brush it off and just be like, whatever, it doesn't mean anything. But when I'm actually the days when I'm actually actively working with it and putting intention to it, and when I'm facing challenges, I'm actually exercising that. Having that reminder, sometimes it feels like there's like another friend that's there to help me and to affirm and to affirm what I'm doing and to help me to continue to work on what's important. I really like what Pico Iyer said about meditation. Pico Iyer is he's an author. He just recently wrote about a book called The Art of Stillness. And I think that what he talks about is that oftentimes we travel to get inspired or to learn new things and to feel new feelings. But what he has really discovered in his own quest of meditation and mindfulness and going inward is actually a lot of those things that we're looking to get, they're already inside of ourselves. And so I think for me, of course, I would still love to travel. I love to see the world. I love to meet people, all kinds of things, right? Like making a contribution in this world, touching people's life. But I think the most importantly is, I think as long as I'm alive, I want the moment and when I'm conscious and the moment when I'm actually awake, I wanted to be able to just experience and access to the joy that I already am and I already have. So I'm not living my life grasping for things or doing things and saying things to people or making friends out of a place of like neediness or like feel me and make me feel loved and make me feel important. But instead, I want to be in a place that I'm already just resting in my own brilliance, in my own essence, and to be at peace with what is. I think what I like about Mindfulness Daily is that it's very simple, the simplicity of it. I think if I would say what would add on to that is perhaps having updated, guided meditation recording that might be tailored to what the person needs in the phase of their life or whatever they're working. I don't know how that would look like, but I think it's like having the balance of not having like 100 different meditation, guided meditation video, because then that would just be too overwhelming. But probably maybe like every month it might be like 2 featured one that's from could be a leading expert, but it could also be that this is something that one of our users used that's very helpful. So from different sources. That's one idea. I think my hopes and dreams for all my clients are that they would be able to see the brilliance of who they are, that they would be able to really access to that joy of their own being. And by just being who they are, they're really able to then bring that joy and bring that peace into their family, their friends, and their work. And to really make impact in a way that's authentic to them. As great as the way that Mindfulness Daily is designed, at the end of the day, you actually have to commit to use it. So it is a wonderful tool. It is something that I would say that one of the best tools when it comes to mindfulness that I have used in my own life. But at the end of the day, it's important. Anything that's going to make an impact requires your commitment. So I think that I would say give it a try. And if you have any questions, you should email them because they have wonderful tech support.